All right, let's just jump right into it. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to break down an absolute masterclass in modern real estate hustling. We're looking at the exact playbook used by two brothers, Jackson and Carson, who've managed to generate over $6 million in profit. And honestly, here is the real kicker. They did all of this acting as pure middlemen for vacant, empty lots of dirt. I mean, they aren't developers, they aren't traditional real estate agents, they are essentially digital matchmakers for raw land. So let's look at exactly how they pull this off.
What is truly staggering to me is the sheer scale of what's possible when this system actually clicks into place. $532,000. And to put that into perspective, that is not their career total, that is the profit they pulled in from their single best month. In just 30 days, they closed 37 separate deals to generate over $500,000, and they did the whole thing entirely virtually.
So you might be wondering how on earth you actually get to $500,000 in a single month. Well, it's definitely not by landing one massive lucky mega deal. Their average profit per deal is about $8,600, and I think this brilliantly illustrates the reality of their business model. It's not about the home run, it's about high volume, consistent, bite-sized profits. They've basically built a repeatable machine that cranks out roughly 8 to 10 grand every single time it turns over.
But here is the absolute craziest part. And it all comes down to the number 0. The core appeal of this entire business model is that it requires exactly 0 upfront capital to start. Seriously, you do not need to be rich to get rich doing this. You don't need a loan from the bank, you don't need a mortgage, you don't even need a real estate license. Literally, all you need is an internet connection, a phone, and a willingness to actually learn the system.
So here is exactly what we're going to reverse engineer in this explainer today. First, the $0 land flip. Then, the builder-first strategy, how to find your land sellers, why land actually beats houses, and finally, the red flags and deal killers you absolutely must avoid. Okay, part 1, the $0 land flip. So how exactly do you make thousands of dollars off a piece of land without ever putting your own name on the deed? Let's demystify the jargon real quick here. The secret sauce is something called an assignable contract. This is literally the linchpin of the whole operation. When you get a seller to agree to sell you their land, your contract includes an assignment clause. All this means is that you aren't actually obligated to buy the property yourself. Instead, you've just secured the legally binding right to buy it. You then turn around and sell that piece of paper, that right to purchase, to someone else. You are trading paper, you're not trading dirt.
Think of it almost like the dropshipping of real estate. Imagine you find a vacant lot and the owner agrees to sell it to you for $40,000. You lock that in with your assignable contract. Then you go out and find a home builder who is more than happy to pay $50,000 for that exact same lot. You just connect the two parties at the title company, the builder pays the 50 grand, the seller gets their 40, and you happily pocket that $10,000 difference as a middleman fee. And you never actually owned the land for a single second.
Which leads us right into part 2, the builder-first strategy.
You see, most people get this totally backwards. They blindly lowball landowners and then scramble to find a buyer later. But Jackson and Carson, they flipped this entirely on its head. Let's walk through their step-by-step process because it's completely brilliant and honestly 100% free. Step 1, you literally just jump on Zillow and look for brand new houses built in the last year that are listed for sale. These are called spec homes, built by developers specifically to sell. Step 2, that listing usually has the builder's name attached. So you call them up and ask for their buy box. That just means you ask exactly what zip codes they want to build in next and exactly what they're willing to pay for an empty lot. Once you know a builder will, say, pay $50,000 for a quarter acre in a specific zip code, step 3 is just going out and finding an off-market lot in that exact area for $40,000. Finally, step 4, you connect them. You're out there shopping, but you've already got a guaranteed buyer sitting right in your back pocket.
All right, point 3, finding your land sellers.
Okay, so you know exactly what the builder wants, but how do you find the actual property owners? It's not like these random dirt lots have giant for sale signs on them. Their approach is incredibly targeted. They look at public county records to find people who have owned a vacant lot for over 5 years. Why 5 years? Because those owners usually have a ton of equity, their big dreams of building a house there have probably faded, and they are sick and tired of paying annual property taxes on useless dirt. You can use free sites like True People Search to dig up their phone numbers or just mail them really simple one-page offers. And oh, here's a great tip. Never underestimate the next-door neighbors. Call them up and say, hey, I'm about to sell the lot next to you to a really loud construction company. Do you want to buy it first to protect your peace and quiet? Neighbors will often pay a premium just to keep the bulldozers away. It's genius.
Now, to turn this into a self-sustaining machine, they don't just walk away after closing a deal. They actually send the seller a handwritten thank you note with a massive referral offer attached. If that seller brings them a family member or a friend who also wants to sell a property, they give them a $1,000 cash bonus the minute it closes. Most people in this industry offer what, a $50 gift card? Offering a cool $1,000 turns your past clients into highly motivated, highly loyal scouts for your business.
Moving on to part 4, why land beats houses. So, right about now you're probably wondering, why vacant land? Isn't there way more money in flipping houses? Well, the truth is, house flipping is kind of an unpredictable nightmare of hidden variables. You've got to worry about termites, cracked foundations, awful floor plans, and highly emotional sellers who are super attached to their childhood homes. Plus, you're usually selling to a cash-strapped local flipper. But vacant land? It's literally just flat dirt. It's a completely cookie-cutter commodity. There are zero emotions attached to an empty lot that the owner has probably never even visited. And best of all, your buyers are massive, multi-billion-dollar corporate home builders. Companies like D.R. Horton, who buy thousands of lots every single year. You could realistically do 20 deals a month with just one repeat buyer.
And finally, part 5, red flags and deal killers.
Look, I have to be honest with you, it's not all sunshine and massive profit margins. You absolutely need to know your deal killers. Take wetlands, for instance. A brilliant little hack the brothers use is looking at the lot on Google Earth. If the trees look gray instead of green, the lot is likely flooded and completely useless for building. Protected wildlife is another massive headache. Down in Florida, if a gopher turtle decides to nest on your dirt, it can cost you up to $8,000 per turtle just to legally relocate them. No way a builder touches that. Other major red flags include severe slopes that require really expensive leveling, or lots sitting right on a loud, busy main highway, because home builders know families simply don't want to live there.
But wait, earlier I said this was a zero-risk, zero-capital model, right? So how do they protect themselves if they accidentally sign a contract for a lot that's, say, covered in those expensive gopher turtles? Well, they use what's called a feasibility window. Their assignable contracts always include a clause that allows them to legally back out without any penalty right up until closing day if the lot proves unbuildable. So on day 1, the contract gets signed. By day 2, the builder drives by to inspect it. If they spot turtles or wetlands, the brothers just send a quick email to terminate the contract and they lose absolutely nothing. But if it's clean, they hit day 21, the deal closes, and that beautiful wire transfer hits their bank account.
So, looking at all of this, zero money down, massive profit margins, working remotely from a laptop, it is completely natural to ask the obvious question. Is this just some sort of get-rich-quick scheme? Because let's face it almost sounds a little too good to be true, doesn't it?
Well, the brothers actually hit the nail on the head right here when they said, think of if you made 100 cold calls a day for a year. All of a sudden, you're an expert. And guys, that is the real secret here. It is not a magic trick. It is the highly unsexy, totally unscalable daily grind of picking up the phone, facing rejection, and making hundreds of offers to complete strangers week after week after week. The system itself is incredibly simple, but the execution, that requires a relentless, boring consistency that most people simply refuse to put in.
Which brings us to our final thought for today. The entire blueprint is right here in front of you. You now know exactly how to find the builders, how to hunt down the off-market sellers, and how to connect them using a simple assignable contract. So the real question isn't whether the system works. The question is, are you willing to do the unsexy work? Are you willing to sit at a desk, pull the county records, make those 100 calls a day, and actually build those relationships? Because the millions are definitely out there in the dirt, just waiting for the middleman who's willing to put in the effort. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this sparks some serious curiosity for you, and I will see you next time.